drag queens are reading to children, why, you go into the schools and you see, children being encouraged to be transgender or homosexual. Like, that to me is an absolute attack on Christianity. What they did during the Olympics with their depiction of the Last Supper, like, that was blasphemy. So I look at who's attacking this, and it's not the Muslims, not the Hindus, it's the Jews. They are attacking Christianity. They're the ones pushing this stuff in the media. They're the ones pushing transgenderism. And if you look at the root of this, Magnus Hirschfeld, he opened the first transgender clinic in the world, the history of the world. It was in Germany. So he did the first transgender surgery, and this was in, the 1920s, the 1930s. So this is not some new progressive whatever. Like, they were doing the same shit 100 years ago. You look at the Talmud, it's got 8 different genders. So the Bible doesn't have that. The Quran doesn't have that. So where is this coming from? It is coming from the Jewish religion. This degradation of moral fiber is coming from them. And so that's the big problem. And like, and people don't want to talk about that. You talk about that, and then all of a sudden your show gets canceled and you get silenced and this and that. And, and usually, I mean, you look historically, like the right side is never trying to silence people. They want to talk because they feel like their position is correct and they have the facts to back it up. And so I look at, like I said, where all this is coming from, and it's coming from the Jewish religion. And so that's where I've been. And I think the big issue here is that their religion preaches supremacy. The Christian religion doesn't preach that. Islam doesn't preach that. Christians want, other people to be Christians. Muslims want other people to be Muslims. Jews don't want other people to be Jews. Jews believe that they are chosen from God and that everybody else is beneath them, that they're literally like cattle. If you look at the Talmud quotes, like, non-Jews are like cattle. You can rape them, you can steal from them, you can kill them. Like, if you look at what they actually put in their Talmud and what they believe, I mean, it is absolutely unequivocally a religion of supremacy. And you look at how you treat animals like cattle. I mean, you're not going to treat a horse or a cow that you're going to eat the same as you're going to treat a human. So the problem comes from when they believe that they're better than everybody else. And, that has big problems. And you put on top of that, they've somehow weaseled their way into a victim category because of this, Holocaust that they, want everybody in the world to just consistently talk about. They don't talk about Christian Holocaust, by the way. They don't talk about the Bolshevik Holocaust, the Holodomor, the Armenian Holocaust, genocide, whatever you want to call it. In fact, in Israel, they deny all of those Holocausts. And they were all perpetuated by Jews, except for the Armenian one, which was, some say it was crypto Jews, whatever. Let's just say that was not Jews. But unequivocally, the Holodomor was, the Bolshevik genocide, those were Jews killing Christians. Like 40,000 Christian churches were burned. Like, they made it illegal to criticize Jews, and they were burning priests in the streets, in their churches, burning, congregations. Like, they mass murdered like between 30 and 60 million Christians. And that was like a predominantly Jewish leadership. And some people will try and claim, oh, well, it wasn't all Jewish leadership. But you look at the people that said so. Churchill literally wrote Bolshevism versus Zionism, the struggle for the Jewish soul. And he talks very, directly about how the Bolshevik revolution, whatever you want to call it, was predominantly Jewish. And the people in the high positions were all Jewish. Communism was a Jewish theology that was written by Karl Marx. So you look at where all this stuff came from. This was Jews mass murdering Christians. And this was before World War II. Nobody talks about all these Christians that died. Half of my people got wiped off the face of the earth. Armenians are Christian. We got, and Israel denies that. They lobby the U.S. to deny that. So, they want everybody to talk about their Holocaust while at the same time being the biggest Holocaust deniers on the planet. And, the Holodomor was an absolute Holocaust of Christians, and Henrik Yagoda, he was he was in charge of the gulags, he was Jewish. So you look at the leadership, and it was Jews killing Christians. That, it was a Jew that invented the mobile gas chamber before World War II. So, when Jews talk about events, they always want to talk about what happened to them. And they never want to talk about why or what led up to that. They only want to talk about the 6 million Jews that died during the Holocaust, which was absolutely untrue. It was not 6 million Jews. Auschwitz.org has revised that figure from 4 million that died at Auschwitz to 1 million. So that's their official website. In fact, the Holocaust wasn't even in the Encyclopedia Britannica until the 80s. They added this stuff later on. But regardless, they revised that figure after like 40 or 50 years. They acknowledged that there's absolutely no way that 4 million Jews died in Auschwitz, and that was only 1 million. And every other one of the concentration camps, they revised the figure down. So how is it still 6 million? If you took 4 million out of the figure that, out of the calculation to the figure that you got, how can you still claim that 6 million Jews did not die? It's just nonsense. But yet they say that, and every time you get in an argument with them, you're anti-Semitic or, the Holocaust. It's like, motherfucker, half my people died in the Holocaust. I'm not whining about it. We didn't get hundreds of billions of dollars in Holocaust reparations. In fact, your country, Israel, denies my Holocaust. So don't tell me that I have to recognize yours. Why can I be thrown in jail in numerous countries in Europe for even saying that? But yet Israel as a country can deny my Holocaust that's recognized by, the U.S., by many, most of the countries in the world. And so the hypocrisy there bothers me a bit. And this constant victim, category that they put themselves in bothers me also, because you can't have a massive amount of power and then put yourself in a victim category and then tell people that you can't criticize them and also have a supremacist mindset.